Good evening and welcome to the start of the playoffs in Season 9 of the CM0102 Super League. Fifey here, as is tradition on a Sunday, and well, you guys seem to hear my voice every day of the week at the minute for one reason or another. But I'm pleased to say I'm joined in the studio tonight by the man who's essentially the defending champion, and the first time we've spoken since he replaced me. Good evening, Hodgie.
Evening, mate. Evening, everybody.
Very happy to have you with me in the studio. We're just having a good chat off air about how confident and stuff you are and where the land lies at the Devils. First of all, congratulations on making the playoffs. It's not an easy job, whether you've got the much fancied squad or not. So many congratulations to you on making it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure on there, you know. I think one of the managers said a couple of weeks ago that it'd be an absolute disgrace if the Devils don't win it. He then followed that up about 15 seconds later with saying that Northern Burn got the strongest team in the league, and that he fancies Fulchester to win it. So make it out what you will. But no, it's got a bit.
No, you carry on, pal.
Yeah, I think it was a tough start, but we stuck with it, and without being particularly brilliant, we're there. Maybe a few too many draws, but the aim was to make the 6, and when we've done that now, so it's just sort of bonus time for us, really. Just see what we can get and go again next year if we fall short.
So there's obviously only 2 games tonight, so we can afford a little bit of time to have a conversation and to open up to a few questions and stuff. So given that this is the first time that me and you have been on together since obviously I left and you came in, what was it about taking the Devils job that interested you in the first place? Was it just the fact that they were so strong and defending champions?
Yeah, I think it was the squad, to be fair. There was maybe 3 or 4 players that I sort of really, really wanted to work with. And then on top of that, I kind of felt that there wasn't really much work to be done to the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was looking at my Leddersford side, and Dan's blown that theory out of the water with his performances this season, but I maybe felt that it was 3 or 4 players short, and maybe 1 or 2 really good players short of putting up another challenge again. So I was given the option: Devils, Gazelles, and Dragons. And to be fair, it was only really Devils. The only thing that put me off with Devils was obviously the red, the red that was associated with it. It's very, very dirty from my parts. The neck of the wood is red, but to be fair, I didn't really think about that until I'd sort of done it and realised that my Twitter page was looking sort of very Man United-esque. Yeah, that was the only one for me. I sort of had a look at Gazelles and I ummed and ahed a little bit, but I felt like they were a bit light up top, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to move on from Leddersford, because nobody was going to sell me a decent striker. So yeah, that was the decision we've made.
And a lot of particularly early doors, and especially with the form that you alluded to, there was a lot of people saying that you'd taken on a thankless job, and the pressure was all on you to replicate. Did you know that was coming as soon as you took the job?
Yeah, definitely. You're putting yourself, by taking that job, you're putting yourself in a no-win situation, like you just said. If you win it, you've won it with somebody else's team and it's the best squad in the league. If you don't win it, you've done a bad job and bring back Fifey, you know.
Well, let's face it, if Fifey can win it with that squad, anyone can win it with that squad. But you certainly went about making changes, and the one thing that's been acutely obvious throughout the season is, and I mean, we knew anyway from Ardsley and Leddersford compared to my era, your Devils team is substantially better defensively.
Yeah, we are, but we don't score goals. I think if you could get an hybrid of me and you, together in one manager, just score the goals like you do,
and defend
sort
like
of be
you do.
pretty dull and boring like I can do. We'd be all right, yeah. But yeah, it's not. That has been a bit of a problem for us, really. I think Swan. I spoke to Swan. It was a few weeks ago now, so it has changed. But he says you've only won 3-1 or 1-0. They're the only wins we'd had. I think that was maybe around about week 20.
Okay.
So it was like, I just want to go out and smash somebody like Fifey with like 6-3. I just want 6-3 and Penzance to score a load of goals. But you had to keep settling for 1-0s and 1-alls. But they're all points on the board, and it got there. It got us there in the end.
And I'm just going to stick a little disclaimer out because, unfortunately, I'm thankfully, I'm taking the test and stuff. I don't have the dreaded illnesses, but I have felt last couple of days my throat going. So if my voice does go hodgy, you'll have to just firmly take over if that's okay. Before we take on, you mentioned them earlier, and it'd be remiss of us in this sort of introductory bit not to discuss Ledisford. Obviously, they were your team, and then Dan's come in and is widely being considered one of the managers of the season for the job he's doing, because it wasn't even him taking over at the start of the season.
Yeah, he's done a great job there. He's just a lovely guy, isn't he, as well?
And incredibly good looking as well, annoyingly.
Yeah, he is, yeah. How tall is he?
Dan, if you can put in the chat how tall you are, please.
Someone's got to let him down.
What, you're hoping he's like 4'8"?
5'5", yeah, just might be about 5'3". Just nobody'd ever notice him. The women would just be looking at the sort of 6'4"s like Jens and
Dimble.
Yeah, but no, yeah, he's done a really good job there. I mean,
fucking hell, if that's true and he's 6'5", I'm livid.
He's not 6'5". Surely no, that's just unfair.
So, sorry, do carry on.
Yeah, I mean, my feelings at Ledisford were that it was a very good squad, in that there was good squad players, but it was just missing a couple of players to sort of stand up and be counted and kick them on, which I had in that first season. Montella and Torres in that running were brilliant, and then I just couldn't get anything out of them. They were just awful.
Of course, the Montella one was an interesting one, because we obviously did the Ronaldinho deal before I left, and then you came in and got rid of Montella again.
Yeah, basically, I kind of felt that the squad that you'd left was lacking at AMC.
And clearly
not
DNC.
Really wanting, yeah, and DNC. But I felt that, look, to get a world class AMC in, it was going to cost me a world class player somewhere. It comes back to this thing of people offering just absolute shite for players that play week in, week out. It's not going to happen. Always been pretty realistic with it, to be honest. And I wanted Aymar. Sorry, no, Greavesy messaged me about Montella. He just says, look, Montella. And I just says, it's yours if you give me Aymar, expecting him to be like, no, fuck off. And he says, yeah, go on then. So it was as simple as that. I think I've tweeted this before. I think I signed Pablo Aymar in about 11 words. I think the messages between me and Greavesy consisted of about 11 words. So yeah, Montella had to go, really, for me to get a world class AMC in. So that's why that deal was done. And to be fair, I know Montella's done well. He's scored plenty of goals for Greavesy this year, but I couldn't ask for any more. He's coming in top of the assist charts, playing AMC. That's what you want from your AMC. So I don't lose any sleep over Montella, if I'm honest. But we were talking about Ledisford, weren't we? And how good Ledisford have been.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think he's done really well. They had that little bit of a blip, which seems quite a long time ago now. It's how you get back from them blips, and they just sort of bounce back to where they were before that, and looking good, Nick. To be fair, I mean, the last game against Fulchester, the 5-2 game, that was a bit of a freak game, wasn't it? Winning at half time and losing by 3 at full time. So I think it's probably just best to try and forget about that one and stick one on Bostock tonight, get as many goals as they can, get as far in front as they can, and hopefully hold out then away from home.
Well, I don't know. I don't believe you have a second device currently looking at the YouTube chat at the same time. So just to keep you in the loop of what's going on, based on your earlier comment, Maka has asked who's the tallest and shortest in the Super League. So if you can just throw your measurements in. At the minute, I've announced I'm 6'1". Mega Horse has confirmed he's 5'11". Swan's come in at 6'4". Maka's confirmed he's a straight 6 foot, and Tato is 6'2".
Yeah, I'm 6 foot.
You're a solid 6 foot as well, are you?
Yeah.
And Scott's just come in at 5'9". I
tell you who's really little. Ryan's really little.
Is he?
When I met him in Weatherspoons in Batley, I think Ryan's probably about 5'3".
Mac, if you confirm if Ryan is 5'3", please. Let's actually. There was just one more question, if I may, before we kick off the action. As again, we've only got 2 games, so we've got plenty of time. It's been an interesting season all round, and I was asking the managers on Friday what they thought. But equally for you, you've had an interesting season. You're on about your 27th different Twitter account. You seem to get a new one for every game. There was a spell where we thought you'd been kidnapped, and in the managers' chat you were having to send photos proving that it was really you. How's the season just generally, before you get either the pain or the ecstasy of the playoffs? How's the season as a whole this year been for you?
Do you mean the record-breaking season? It's not been mentioned yet.
Indeed.
It's the first. I think I'm right in saying this. Am I the first manager to manage 3 different teams to playoff campaigns in Super League history?
You are, but you've still got 0 stars to your name, to be fair.
Yeah, but I've got one on my team badge right now, mate.
Are you, as have I. But yes, just so aside from being a record setter, a record breaker, how's the season been generally?
I've as a whole, as a season, as not as the Devils manager, but as a Super League fan,
Yeah,
it's been brilliant. It's been fantastic. It's been quick paced. I think the lads have been brilliant who are involved. There's been no falling out. Nobody's been getting told off. It's been a lovely environment. The work that you've done yourself and Ryan, as everybody said on Sunday, I'm just sort of echoing what they've said. It's been fantastic. Massively appreciated. Although maybe sometimes it seems like we like to moan at you, but it's only because we're passionate about it, I think. And yeah, I just want to make it continue. One man band next year for yourself, and I'm sure you'll just take it in your stride and be as great as you've been this year.
I'm sure you lot will hold me to account if that's not the case. But people are here for the action, so let's kick off. We'll obviously do the Devils game second, and as you've had an opportunity to speak about Leddersford, let's start with Bostock Stanley, who, it's fair to say, go into the game in atrocious form, really. They're bottom of the form table, not 1 in 6, I believe it is. And for those who aren't privy to all the stuff that goes on in the background, the playoffs does include a 5th sub, which everybody forgot, so I reminded everybody today. And Macca and Ian got a message as well telling them ready for their game. This is the team that Scott's put in. For me, the interesting one is seeing Live move into DM with Sylvester coming into defence, and certainly a mention for what he's getting out of Anelka for me personally.
Yeah, 24 games out of Anelka's amazing, isn't it? Regardless of the fact that he's actually doing really well when he plays in 24 games. I think Scott's. It's a tough one. He was so good, at the start, and then he's been so poor recently. And it's, you find, if you can find some sort of middle ground, he doesn't even have to be as good as he was to maybe progress. It'll be a tough one. It will be a tough one because I think Leddersford probably favourites with Bostock's form. But then you've got that, Bostock coming with a bit of confidence. They had to go out and get a result against Gazelles, and they did it. All right, they didn't win, but they got the result that they needed to get into the six. And, that could be that little bit of confidence boost that they've been lacking last few weeks that maybe kicks them on here tonight.
And the thing is, like yourself, Scott's been around the league a long time now, and we all know he's a real student of the game. He won't be panicking on the form, will he?
No, I don't think so. It's a tough one. I've been in that position. I know he was saying on Sunday night. Was it Sunday? No, it's Sunday now. It's Friday night. That he's sort of changed nothing, and yet his form's just fallen off a cliff. And I've been there, and it's so frustrating. I've been on shit runs. When why.
We all?
You're on a shit run, and it's like I'm not scoring any goals. I need to bring a centre forward in, or we're letting too many goals in. We get too many red cards. But when literally your form just drops off like that, and you don't know why, that's when it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And you've just got to keep plugging away and hope you find something. And when you do, stick with it.
And how big a loss is this particular suspension of Ndai for this? I mean, obviously it's only for the first leg.
I think I don't think it's that big, to be fair. I think he's a bit of an hype job.
Do you? He's picking up a solid rating, to be fair to him as well, and he's got all the right stats in the right places.
But if he's that fucking good, why has he not been influencing the results? He goes out, it's fantastic every week, and they're bottom at form table.
Did we not say the same when he was at Hull's last year, though? He was constantly getting nines and they were constantly losing.
Yeah, well, he was still an hype job last year.
let's
have. I'm probably going to get slagged for that because everybody fucking loves him, don't they? But I'd rather have my DMC getting 7s and 8s and winning games than him getting a 9 every week, whether we win, lose, or draw.
Well, you're certainly going to kick off a conversation piece there because Tato's already put in the chat myth or maestro. Let's have a look at what Dan Megahorse has done with his Leddersford team. It's as was, apart from in a stroke of tactical genius on his part, he's swapped Ronaldinho and Petkov the other way round from last time.
Yeah, I like the look of his side. His two wingers will be important. Passanzini and Exabria. I think if they can get on top of the Bostock fullbacks, get the ball into Constantino, I think he's a striker who needs a supply line. People slag Constantino off, but I think a lot of the time you've got to look at who's supplying him. If you've got players that are putting balls into the box, he will score goals. We've seen it. I think it's, like I said, just you look around and there's just players and they're not amazing, but they all do a job. Ado, Kazoglu, Ugo Ekio, probably one of the unsung heroes during my period, and I think Dan will probably agree. He's carried on and been brilliant for him. It's just solid. That was my sort of when I got at Leddersford originally. I got Nesta as my marquee player. I remember I was moaning about it. Ryan at the time was like, "Why are you moaning? You got Nesta as best centre half on game." Well, he is, but he can't do anything Ugo Ekio can't do. Whereas someone who's got Veron, and I'm fucking playing Robbie Keane there. I mean, Robbie Keane, that was my sort of thing. I think there's so many, even DMC, so many DMCs and DCs who can match the sort of the world class players. But the other end of the pitch, it's a different ball game. I think you need them elite players in, and he's got one in Ronaldinho, and he's got a man in form in Petkov. So I am maybe fancying that Leddersford might sneak this one 2-0.
Okay, you're saying Leddersford to sneak it. Obviously, if we could have a few predictions in the chat as well. Just one last thing on the Leddersford team, which has intrigued me for a few weeks now. Obviously, Constantinou, who led the Dragons to the final last year, has definitely made the starting spot his own. Are you surprised to see the likes of Torres not even getting on the bench for this Leddersford team?
No, I think Torres has been pretty rubbish for Dan, as he was rubbish for me. Yeah, He's a six machine, which you don't mind if he's a six machine if he's scoring goals, but if the six machine is not even scoring, I think he had his day a few years ago. He peaked 2 seasons ago as 18-year-old, and he's just never got back anywhere near that.
Well, the predictions are flooding in. Mike Savage saying 3-1 Leddersford. Andrew Allen going 2-1 Leddersford. Tato Mourinho saying 1-1. What else have we got? Mega Horse. No, sorry. Macca saying absolute thriller here, 3-3. Duggan saying 3-1 Leds. A lot of Leddersford love in this one. Steve Wright going 2-1. David going 2-1. And Ian Edwards going 1-0. So almost everyone back in Leddersford here. I'm going to keep the commentary speed on fast because we're in no rush to get these games done unless people really do get bored, and then they'll speed it up again. But with only 2 games, I'm sure we can see it out. Let's make 2 games last an hour, and just to entertain everybody. Leddersford certainly. Megahorse saying there's a lot of pressure on Leddersford tonight. Leddersford started the quickest, it would appear. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. So Evie making a save though with Bostock's first chance on goal.
I still think there is no pressure on Dan, though, to be fair. I think
Even though everyone's building him up?
Yeah, but you forget about everybody else. Just, in Dan's shoes now, for me, him getting top 6, job done. It's just a bonus now. Anything else is a bonus. First season with an unfancy squad, he's never really been out of the top 6, has he?
No, absolutely not. That's completely correct. Since he come in, he went on that mad bit of form. It was something stupid like 10 games unbeaten in his first 10, winning about 8 of them, I think. It was unreal the form he came in with. But he's this. I think of the 2 playoff games, this one's going to be the tactical battle, and your game is the clash of styles, which we'll come to after.
Yeah, well, I'm still playing that formation that you just fucked about with and moved everybody around.
Well, I've asked you about 3 times if you want to resubmit the tactic, but since I changed it, you've been winning.
Yeah, it's all a load of bollocks, mate. People just don't think it.
Jens saying
I'll get smashed tonight.
Constantinu putting one just over the bar. Jens saying in the chat, absolutely love watching Vogel in action. We're just coming up towards half-time now. Evening, Ryan. There's been some conversation about how tall you are, if you can confirm. Mac has made a prediction, but he's not 100% sure.
Or how tall you're not.
Or how tall you're not, as the rumour is being suggested. Collins with the chance, but couldn't convert either. And there we have half-time, 0-0. And Tato saying tight game suits Bostock. Let's have a look at the stats. Both teams creating, and considering the amount of love there was for Leddersford, Bostock have, especially being away from home, arguably been the better side there, Hodgie.
Yeah, there's not much in it. My tackles win from Leddersford is pretty impressive. I mean, I'm always went with these shots. These shots could be coming from anywhere, couldn't they?
Well, quite indeed. I mean, just having a look there though. So Gonzalez had 2 of them, Anelka and Cotter. So the 3 attacking-minded players are the ones taking the shots. I mentioned the positioning of Live for this game, and he's excelling as expected with a 9.
Yeah, he's a really solid player. He can play left back, left wing back, DMC, centre half, and sort of when you're playing thick and fast games with obviously the suspensions that come in this league, it's just really handy to have in the squad somebody like that.
Oh, without question. And you were talking about unsung heroes before kickoff. Lizarazu's certainly one of those that goes under the radar, I think, but he's consistently good for Bostock.
Yeah, he's consistently good in the league, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wherever he's been, he does a job. I think he's one of those players that, because of his age, you don't sort of go punting yourself. but if he's in your squad, he's going to become one of your key players, and he's going to be really, really useful for you.
No, absolutely. And Scott is looking to continue as is for the second half. So we click over to the Leddersford stats and let Mr. Megahorse have a look at what's going on there. You mentioned about the wingers, particularly before kickoff. Pozzanzini's been, decent without excelling, but Etsabaria not exactly getting the joy he'd be looking for.
Well, no, they say that they've both been pretty quiet, and because of that, Constantine's been quiet. He's not going to drop deep and get on the ball and make stuff happen himself. So I wouldn't, I don't think there'd be no point in dragging Constantino off here. I'd probably more be looking to bring Percy on out wide, maybe, if
That
you make
is,
a change.
it's as if you know what's coming, because just as you say that, we get confirmation that Addo is coming off for Hersey, with Vogel swapping back into defensive midfield. And then Petkov also moving back. So if you can just confirm, Dan, that's what you're after, please. And we'll click continue. So does that kind of match what you were expecting, Hodgie?
I thought he might have brought Hersey on for Experia and just swapped his wide men around.
Okay.
Pozzanzini can play on both sides. That's probably what I was thinking. But Yusuf Hersey, rocks or diamonds, absolute shite or absolutely brilliant.
Well, he's not had a major impact on the Leddersford campaign other than 3 assists so far this season. Let's see if he can up his ratings in the playoffs, as Dan confirms that is what he's after. And we kick off the second half. Are you still seeing the way that first half panned out and seeing the sub made by Leddersford? Are you still thinking they're gonna nick this being the home side?
Oh, well, I'll stick with my prediction, but it's a very tight game, and I can't see it being a 2-goal swing. Probably be a 1-goal swing now. But I will stick on with Leddersford.
Ronaldinho had the first big chance of the half, but it was well saved. And it's a yellow card handed out there for Collins, who's got to be careful for the remaining 25 minutes or so. Now Bostock start to come forward, and you've seen Anelka and Collins again, but there's another one gone over the bar. It's a recurring theme of a few of the chances from both sides we've seen so far tonight. Ronaldinho tries his luck, still going Ronaldinho, but Andre with another fine save. Constantinu getting involved this time. Tato confirming saying in the chat that Collins has been quite aggy this season. He's not quite had the impact. There is the Leddersford goal, and it is Constantinu. You said if he got the service, he would score, and there he is on 78 minutes. Mac carrying on the Collins is a myth chat that he likes to bring up. So we are into the final 5 minutes now, still 1-0 to the home side from that Constantinu goal, but here come Bostock again. Kivu, no nonsense, puts it into Rose Ed. Bostock continue to come forward looking for an equaliser, and on the odd chance they get past Kivu, Taibbi is in the way. And we move into injury time. Are Leddersford going to see this out now as they come forward on the counter themselves looking for a second? And they have a free kick, Petkov to shoot. And he scored from the free kick in injury time to make it 2-0. And that is how it ends. You were right all along, Hodgie. Not often people come on and get the predictions right straight away. It's finished 2-0 to Leddersford in what was, as expected, a very, very tight game. Dan will be delighted, won't he?
Yeah. You don't play at Super League predictions, mate. Serious game. Yeah, he will be delighted with that. He's not conceded an away goal. He's 2-0 up in a pretty even game, to be fair. I don't think they were massively dominant, but to be take a 2-0 lead away from home, the away goal thing's massive. I always think, well, whenever I'm playing and you're away, it's just like if we can keep a clean sheet at home, not concede any away goals, I think that's massively important. Patzoglu, he's just always solid. He's another one. He's playing centre midfield. He's playing at right back. He's just a job anywhere. He's just really, really impressive player. But yeah, he'll be delighted with that.
Without question, and a very harsh break on Scott. The way that second went in, very much in the game, just failing to really convert the chances that they'd created, which has been unlike their team for the most part, but sums up the sort of form that they found themselves in going into the game.
It's a huge goal, that second goal. I think if it stays 1-0 to Leathersford, Scott sort of thinks, right, well, we just go and try and beat him by a couple of goals at home. But now it's a big ask because he's got to score 3 and hope that Leathersford don't score. If Leathersford get an away goal, it's a massive ask now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Scotty just go for it in the second leg and just try and go for it. He's got to score early, I think.
What he'll probably be frustrated about, I know we mentioned the suspension before the game, but when you look at the ratings compared between the two sides, two of the big players for Bostock, Decor and Bowyer, not really influencing the game the way he would have needed them to.
Yeah, but you play and die there and it's still 2-0, he just gets a 9. That's what I think. Ashley Live played in his position and got an 8.
No, absolutely.
You couldn't really ask for too much more than that. I honestly, I don't think Ndai changes that game at all. I really don't. He gets a 9. The result's the same.
We move on to the second and final game of the night then, and your first chance to properly look at your opponent's team. Loco, as we mentioned, unbeaten, I believe it is in 10 going into this, and Greavesy really showing the hallmarks of what won him the title a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, he is. He's had a season that, to be fair, is not too dissimilar from the season where he won it in the league. He didn't stand out there, and I think even though he finish top 2?
Yeah,
he did finish top 2, didn't he? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he was second to me. Yeah, fucking hell. I was trying. I wasn't being trying to be clever though. Really not. But yeah, I don't think he stood out there, and I think even as we entered the playoffs, I don't think he was still fancied by many. I think the guys that fancy him now are only fancying him because they know what he's done before from this position. We sit here and we say it again, man for man. It's not a fantastic side,
nope.
But what it is, it's good at what it does. It grinds results out. His 2 wing backs are very efficient. Tonetto's being a good signing. Montella's getting goals. Just maybe, is he going to miss Barthez tonight? Just sort of hoping that Peruzzi throws in number 2 performance, if you like.
Yeah. Barthez is obviously the big loss, but to link into a question I've asked a couple of different people throughout the course of the season, and it's probably even more prominent now given that in the playoffs you get the extra sub. Are you surprised slightly when you look at, you say Loco don't necessarily have the strongest squad? You've got a player of Inzaghi's quality who hasn't even featured in half the games this season, and even with an extra sub isn't getting a place on the bench in a game where you might need someone to come on and make an impact.
Who's got his bench?
So his bench tonight, in terms of attacking players, is Guerrero as the attacking midfielder, and you would say Del Vecchio as well.
I would have carried him on that bench instead of Del Vecchio.
So now that you've seen the Loco team, is there anything you're particularly concerned about? Is it breaking down the wall, or is it that Zidane puts in his one good performance of the season?
No, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I think
Montella coming back.
Yeah, but that's up to us to stop, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's if Montella scores tonight, fair enough. Do I regret swapping him for Aymar? No, definitely not. It will be what it will be tonight. If we get beat, we get beat.
Well, we have to mention.
I'm not going to regret any selections. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be kicking myself in the morning. Oh, we should have done this. Or we should have done that. I've picked a team out that I believe can beat Locomotive Boston.
We have to mention, obviously, that the game Friday night was this, but the other way round with Loco at home, and that was obviously you did lose. There was a red card, which was a contributing factor, but this was the game that Loco confirmed their playoff place in.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their ratings there, for me, the standout there is Montella. Well, we had fucking Mido up for him, you know what I mean? So let's see how it goes tonight.
Well,
Different game.
you certainly don't have Mido up front tonight as Emil Penza returns to the starting 11. Only got the 9 goals though. I mean, he has spent a lot of time injured this year, hasn't he?
He has, and you know what? I think he scored 8 of them in 5 games.
Were you expecting a lot more from him this year?
Yeah, maybe not a lot more. If somebody had have offered me 9 in 19, I'd have still took it because my top scorer at Leathersford last year was Paolo Maldini. So, so you know what I mean. I've doubled. I think Maldini had 4, so 9's like fucking wild numbers. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I would have just liked him to turn up for a few more games. Like I think there's maybe 2 or 3 standout games where he was brilliant. He was really good against Astor in one of the games. He got the hat trick against Fulchester, and I think if we could have just replicated that performance, maybe 2 or 3 more times, we could have turned a couple of them draws into wins, and I think we'd have probably got second, maybe even maybe top. You know, I think we could have been top 2. We'd have turned a couple of them draws into wins, and maybe his goals were what we were missing. I mean, you're in Penza in this, like we were saying earlier on, in this how this side defended. None of these sides would be able to compete with that.
Well, obviously, my Mpenza, as well as some of my other players, has been talking points throughout the campaign. You've moved Van Bronckhorst back out to left wing back for tonight as Harry Kuehl moves into midfield. He's certainly become more prominent towards the back end of the season after you certainly were making a point of leaving him out early doors. But are you concerned? I mean, the eagle-eyed will see who's obviously missing. I mean, when you see Melberg in defence and Kuehl moving into centre midfield, are you concerned with, Ferguson being suspended, Nesta being suspended for the home game, or is it, regardless of what happens, these are the sort of players due to come back in for the second game?
Yeah, well, it's. I'm not too fussed for Barry. I think we can handle Barry. I don't think we're massively weaker how we are without him. But Nesta, to be fair, Nesta wasn't a huge miss. It was only when the other Italian fella was injured that it sort of became a little bit of an issue. But back on Harry Kuehl, to be fair, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast the way season goes. He doesn't get in my best 11. Yeah, if everybody's fit tonight, he doesn't play. But obviously, as season goes on and you pick up a few injuries and you get a few suspensions, he naturally gets more game time. I mean, he can play in 4 of them starting 11 positions. Now playing left wing back, central midfield, AMC, and at a push, he can go up front. He's been sort of like my second striker on the bench at times this season. So his versatility just allows him to, like I was saying with a few of them Leathersford players, is he's really handy. And just because I don't like him and he doesn't start for us, it doesn't mean I'm going to swap him for Didier Gap. He's a handy player. He's got a role.
And I've just brought Aymar's stats up on the screen. You mentioned him earlier. Would you have him down as one of, if not the best signing any club made this season?
I can't remember who signed who, to be honest. Honestly, it's gone mad on it these last few years, transfers. But it's been a good signing for us. But I don't think he's been probably as good as the Soroczynski signing. So.
Well, I've been watching the chat as you've been talking as well. Tato's saying this has 0-0 all day long. Mac is saying 3-2. Ian Edwards saying if the sub goalkeeper plays well, this will be 2-1. I won't ask you to predict the score in your own game, but before I hit kick-off, are you confident of getting a positive result?
I'm always confident, Stephen.
Good, nice to hear it. Let's kick the second and final game off then. And see if we have as much drama and excitement as we did when this game played out on Friday night. Ian Edwards saying the amount of 20 should be illegal. Mega
There
Horse,
was a lot there, wasn't there?
Mega Horse saying this is going to be 1-1. Andrew Allen saying 1-0 Loco in a tight game. Seen Zidane's name quite a bit in the opening 7 or 8 minutes there. Martin Peterson, even Martin saying Devils victory here. Yellow card for Gattuso. No real surprise there, to be fair. Just perhaps not great for you that is this early in the game.
Yeah, he's on a tightrope now, isn't he?
A lot of Loco pressure in the opening 10-15 minutes. Seeing Montella's name a bit, but now seeing Dyer, Emerson, and Penz's name coming up as well. Emerson continues and Kuehl, but Peruzzi makes a save. Amar gets it, and the Devils come forward again. And then Penza picks it up this time, but that's gone over the bar. Devils certainly playing their way back into it. And it's a corner. Amar goes to take it. And another one. And Penza, no, couldn't put it in.
Slow, isn't it? Very slow.
What the game in general, or?
Yeah.
Well, that's because I've got the commentary on fast to build up the tension for you, Hodgie.
Yeah, I'll play on Nick's patcher at fucking 800 mile an hour.
Well, yes, but we only had 2 games, so we had to. I mean, you've had to talk more extensively than anybody has all season.
Yeah, but I like that. It's all like this.
Scott's put in the chat that he's already submitted his team for the second leg.
As Martin, who's just joined the chat, will concur with it. I've done that. I've sent him a team in before shows have finished in rage as Arsenal manager.
Well, we're over the half-hour mark now, and Kieran Dyer comes forward, but Scholes brings him down. Van Bronckhorst goes to take the free kick, but it deflects off the wall. Zidane's bringing it forward again, but Van Bronckhorst is having absolutely none of that. And it is 1-0 to Loco, and it is Montella coming back to bite the Devils again on 40 minutes. Hodgie's sort of muted reaction pretty much tells the story, though. You can see in his eyes, well, I can, no one else can, that he's not particularly happy that Montella's scored there. But here
I'm a split second behind you, mate. I didn't know it had gone in.
Well, you weren't happy about something then. I think Hodgie is probably sitting at 95-96% of first submissions, Martin said. We're into injury time in the first half, and Montero gets a warning. And there is the half-time whistle. The half does end with Loco winning 1-0, and much like the first game, it's close, isn't it, Hodgie?
Yeah, it's dull and boring. Yeah, it needs a bit of excitement in this second half.
Well, we'll start with Greaves' team, so he can decide if he wants to make any changes. You mentioned, and I believe it was Ian said, the replacement goalkeeper was going to play a huge part. He's rating an 8. The centre backs, who, no matter who Greaves seems to play, they're strong. Whoever he picks, Lawson in particular, gets regular appearances. And then, as we said, Montella coming back to bite his former club and 2-time former manager.
Yeah, he does it every time, doesn't he? Little bugger. I think Greavesy will be happy with that, obviously, with the scoreline, but it's a very Greavesy sort of performance. His centre halves are doing well, his DMCs are doing well. AMCs are not creating too much, but he's in front on the scoreline, so he's not going to be bothered with
that. Greavesy taking the piss out of the earlier comment I made by saying if only I had Inzaghi on the bench. But he has brought Makalele on for Petit at half-time. You've picked up 4 yellow cards in that first half. Are you, when you see that who's getting them and the positions they play in, are you slightly concerned that you might not be finishing with 11 men for the second game running?
I don't think I've ever finished with 11 men against Greavesy, so the red will be coming at some point. I fancy it being Gattuso, probably. Oh, Mad Dog. But no, fucking hell, what do you do here? Right, get Harry Kuehl off and bring the boy on, Tonton.
Taunton on for Harry Kewell. Is that the only change?
Yes, yeah, please.
Okay, well, let's kick off.
See if we can create something.
Let's kick the second half off then and see what can happen. Still plenty of time and plenty of quality in the Devils team, obviously, Hodgie, to change this game around. But as we said a couple of times, both in the intro and the build up for this game, Greaves' side have certainly clicked and are doing things that he is renowned for. Loco do double their lead, and it's a debut goal for the substitute Makalele. Your reaction, love it. And Penza coming forward, but they can't score. And Penza again, Aymar with the chance as well. Just can't seem to put the ball in the net at the minute, Devils.
Yeah.
Now Montella coming forward. Zidandris in the corner, but Frey gets there. It's a loose ball out, and Zidane picks it up. Aymar coming forward this time, and Penza's free, but Peruzzi with another save. And again, you seem to be winning the aerial battles from corners, but just not converting the chances.
That's where Nesta's been pretty good at nodding the corner into his.
Dyer getting involved with a couple of opportunities there, but they still can't be converted. Makoku picking it up this time. It's a free kick again. Dyer lining it up. Dyer shooting now, but Makalele getting in the way, doing his defensive job as we move into the last 5 minutes now. And here come Loco again. It's going to be 3 minutes of injury time. Are we set for another 2-0 score? Koku picking it up. Montella getting in the way. Free kick. Aymar to drift it in. And Aymar scores from the free kick. And he's rushed the ball back to the centre circle. And it's 2-1.
I've just sent my team in. I've just sent my team in before I go.
And the game finishes 2-1 to the away side. And, that if we thought that the second goal in the first game was critical, that Aymar free kick has certainly kept the Devils alive in this tie, hasn't it, Hodgie?
Yeah. It's an important goal. I was sort of think. I think if it finished 2-0, I was just gonna go balls out, literally just go all attack. But now that maybe gives me something to think about. But I just hate playing him. It's fucking shit. I hate playing him. He spoils this game that I love so much, and he spoils it. No,
He's being described as Mourinho's regen in the chat.
Yeah, he does a job, doesn't he?
Montella picking up man of the match again. I mean, as much as you hate playing Greavesy, you must hate playing Montella as well.
No, it's one of those things. You know, I got rid of the wrong striker maybe, but how can you don't know that, do you? You know what I mean? It's Montella on Penza. One had to go to bring Aymar in, and I still happy to have stood by him, Penza. I couldn't get goals out of him at Leathersford, so
Peruzzi did have a solid performance as deputy for Barthez, who's likely to come back for the second leg. Zidane continued to do absolutely nothing to help his team. No additional yellow cards, crucially, in the second half for Devils. Makoka came on and was involved without really having much of an impact. And Penza was quite quiet, but Aymar continues to sort of be the leading man. Dyer and Van Bronckhorst, who are usually two of your better players, weren't quite as effective. But Montero putting in a captain's performance in Nesta's absence.
Yeah, I think pointed out Greaves' wing backs were in good form, playing well, and I think they got on top of mine and won that battle. Olof Melberg is a fourth choice centre half. He's probably not going to play again for a long time, so he's come in and got 7 and done really well there. It's not a bad performance. Looking at that, really, it's not bad. Anything can happen, you know. Last time out, when he beat me in the final that year, we played each other over 2 legs before that, and we drew at my place and I beat him at his place. So we'll have to just hold on to that little bit of hope that we can go to the chip shop car park. Yeah, that's in it. Chip shop car park, am I right there?
It is, yep.
Yeah, if we can go to the chip shop car park and get a result, we've just got to try and keep 11 on the pitch. If we have another one of those or we're down to 8 men, we ain't got a chance. You can't beat good sides losing men. Keep 11 on the pitch, I think we're still in with a shout here.
That's a very measured approach. I'm sure Ryan will announce if there's anything different, but I imagine the next show will be Wednesday, where you should have the second legs of these ties, which it'll be interesting to see how Scott reacts to the Leddersford one and what approach Dan takes. Does he look to hold what he's got or continue as he is to maybe go for a couple more goals? And the very finely poised tie between Loco and Devils. And I would imagine you will also get Fulchester versus Burn in their first leg on the same show as well. Hodgie, thank you very, very much for coming on tonight. Commiserations you didn't get the result you were looking for, but it's been a pleasure having you on. Good to talk to you and exchange stories as we have done. And good luck in the second leg.
Yeah, cheers for having me, mate. Thank you, mate.
And until next time from Super League HQ, good night.
Good night.